Hey Giants, it's going to be another great day in math. Today on our journal page, let's title our page Dividing with Fractions, put the date, and let's glue in our working problems. And I will stop the video to let everyone get ready. Alrighty, we have about 6 notes to take. So let's record our notes on the right side of the page, like we usually do. And our first note is probably pretty obvious. It's read the problem. We're getting to a point in our math where we need to really understand what the numbers represent and what we're doing with them. So read the problem. Step number 2, write down the problem. Okay? Write down the problem. Again, that one's probably pretty obvious for us, isn't it? Okay. Number 3. Make sure the dividend and divisor are fractions. Here we go. Make sure the dividend, and you remember that the dividend is the thing that we are dividing into equal shares, right? So make sure how about just make the dividend and divisor fractions. That works for me. Make the dividend and divisor fractions. Number 4. Determine the common denominator. All right. I think you'll find that determining the common denominator is pretty easy. Determine the common denominator. Denominator. And how do we do that? I'm going to put a little note here. Least common multiple. All right, we've written the least common multiple many, many times, and we know how to find the least common multiple. Remember, it's not a factor, it's a multiple. Okay? Number 5, go ahead and make common denominators. Denominators. Right on, that's it. And number 6, our last note. Now this is, it's not tricky, but this is kind of the cool part. Looking at only the numerators, alright, looking at only the numerators, I'm going to put a colon there, we have 2 choices. We can divide, or we're just going to make a fraction. I will show you what that means today during our lesson. Okay? And the last thing, it's not really a note on how to solve, but this was totally going to help us solve. So I want you to write hint, put a box around it, and it's going to be draw a picture. This is going to help us understand what in the world we are doing. Alrighty, so we have our steps written down, we have our hint, and that's actually one of the first things we're going to do is to draw a picture as soon as we read the problem. So let's go ahead and read our problem. Mia walks a 2-mile fitness trail. She stops to exercise every 1/5 of a mile. How many times does Mia stop to exercise? Alright, so we are going to draw a picture. And my picture, I'm going to come as close to the theme of my journal page as I can. And I'm going to take one space and I'm going to draw a long, skinny rectangle. Alright? I'm going to label this 0. I'm going to label this 2 miles for my 2-mile fitness trail. And I'm going to try to find the middle. It's about right maybe there. And I'm going to label that, what do you think? 1. Yes. Okay, so 0 to 1 mile, 1 mile to 2 miles. So, I've got this 2-mile fitness trail, and it says that Mia stops every 1/5 of a mile. So, this needs to be divided into fifths, equal fifths. So, 5 equal parts. So, I'm not going to draw my line right down the middle and divide. When we're drawing fifths, boys and girls, we go to the left just a little bit. The smaller piece is divided into 2, and the larger piece is divided into 3. Okay, let's do that again over here. Just move your pencil a little bit to the left. Divide that, the smaller section into 2 pieces and the larger section into 3 pieces. And those are my helpful hints on how to not get perfect fifths, but it looks pretty close, right? So let's go ahead and label those fifths as 1/5. And this will look a lot like our linker cubes that we use, or that we have used. And this would be like taking 2 sets of those 1/5 cubes and putting them into n. Okay? So beginning, we have 0/5. We have 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. Let's put 5/5 right here. Keep counting. 6/5, 7/5, 8/5, 9/5, and 10/5. 10/5 is right there. And that's the same as 2 whole. Okay. So now that we have drawn our picture, let's write down the problem. All right, we have this 2-mile fitness trail, 2 miles, and we need to divide it into fifths because it says that she stops every 1/5 of a mile. All right, so what's my next step? Make the dividend and divisor fractions. Well, we know how to make a whole number into a fraction, don't we? Sure. And my divisor is already a fraction. Okay. Now, step 4, determine the common denominator. Well, look at these denominators, 1 and 5. 1 and 5. That's pretty easy to figure out, don't you think? So the least common multiple is 5, isn't it? So let's take our 1, multiply it by that fractional 1. Okay, I'm going to put like a little lightweight box, a little just, not a heavy box, but I just want to remember that I need to solve this, right, to make common denominators. And so I'm not really including it with my dividing by 1/5 yet, but let's make the common denominator. So 2 times 5 is 10, and the 1 times 5 is 5. Right on. Okay, now I have common denominators. Yes? Okay, so I make common denominators. I did that. Now, here we go. This is the fun part. Looking at only the numerators, I can divide or just make a fraction. Well, look at my numerators. 10 divided by 1. I totally know what that is, don't I? 10 divided by 1 is 10. How easy could that be? Yeah. Right. So, here we go. If we're going to answer the question, how many times does Mia stop to exercise? Well, Mia stops to exercise 10 times. So let's write that. Mia stops to exercise 10 times. Giants, I am so glad you are here today. It's going to be an awesome day in math.